Welcome to English Storytelling Podcast, where I share stories of love, self-discovery, and the quiet moments that change everything. I'm Melody. Today, I bring you a story about finding solace in unexpected places, about two souls who meet by chance but stay by choice. This is the story, Whispers of the Tide. Let me introduce you to my characters. Isabella Hayes, a woman seeking an escape from the chaos of city life. At 27, she's lost in the blur of routine, weighed down by a past that no longer fits her. Moving to a quiet coastal town, she hopes to find peace, even if it's temporary. But in her search for solitude, she finds something unexpected: connection. Luca Moretti, the quiet, steady owner of a small cafe by the beach. At 30, he's content in the life he's built, never questioning whether he should want more. But when Isabella walks into his cafe, one summer evening, something shifts. She's different. Lost yet grounded. Distant yet present. And suddenly, the life he never thought of changing doesn't feel so certain anymore. In a town where the ocean whispers secrets, and the nights bring unexpected choices, Isabella and Luca must decide. Will they hold back, or will they surrender to something neither of them planned? Stay with me as we unfold this intimate and unforgettable story. The first time Isabella met Luca, she didn't think much of it. It was a regular summer afternoon, hot and humid, and she had just moved to the small coastal town to escape the stress of city life. She was tired of work, of deadlines, of a relationship that had ended so quietly, it barely felt like a breakup. She needed something different, even if it was temporary. Luca was the owner of a small cafe near the beach, tucked away in a quiet street that only locals seemed to know about. She had wandered in one evening, looking for something cold to drink after a long walk. The place had a simple charm: wooden tables, soft lighting, and the smell of coffee, mixed with the salty breeze from the ocean.
"You're new here,"
Luca had said as he handed her an iced tea. She glanced up, noticing him properly for the first time. He was in his early 30s, with an easy confidence and a quiet, observant nature. Not overly handsome, but there was something about the way he carried himself that made her curious.
"Just moved,"
she replied, taking a sip.
"Looking for something."
She wasn't sure how to answer.
"Maybe just a break,"
she said eventually. Luca only nodded, as if he understood without needing more explanation. How they got closer, Isabella kept coming back to the cafe. Sometimes she would bring a book and sit in the corner, enjoying the peace. Other times, she and Luca would talk. About nothing in particular, about the town, about the people, about the best places to watch the sunset. He never pried, never asked why she had moved here alone. Never tried to be anything more than what he was. Presence that made things feel a little lighter. It wasn't some whirlwind romance. It wasn't passionate or dramatic. It was just easy. One evening, Luca closed the cafe early and asked if she wanted to walk by the shore. She hesitated, but something in his voice made her say yes. They walked in comfortable silence, the sand cool beneath their feet. The waves came and went, steady and endless.
You ever think about leaving?
Isabella asked, looking at him.
Sometimes,
Luca admitted.
but I always stay. This is home.
She envied that. The certainty. The ability to be content with where he was. Why they fell for each other. Luca liked Isabella because she didn't try to change him. She didn't ask why he never left or what he planned for the future. She was just there, present in the moment, never demanding more than he was ready to give. Isabella liked Luca because he didn't push. He didn't try to fix her, didn't ask her to explain things she wasn't ready to talk about. He just existed alongside her, and somehow, that was enough. One night, as they sat on the sand watching the waves, Luca turned to her.
Are you going to stay?
Isabella didn't know.
Do you want me to?
She asked instead. Luca hesitated for the first time.
Yeah, I think I do.
It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't poetic. It was just real. And for the first time in a long time, Isabella thought, maybe, just maybe, this what she had been looking for all along. The night it rained was the night everything changed. Luca had invited Isabella over for dinner, nothing special. Just some grilled fish and vegetables. A meal he put together casually while they talked in his small but cozy kitchen. His house was modest, a simple one-story home not far from the cafe. With wooden floors that creaked slightly, and windows that let in the sound of the waves. It felt lived in, warm, like a place where someone had made peace with their life. After dinner, they sat outside on his porch, watching the sky darken. The air smelled of salt and the faintest trace of Luca's cologne. Something clean and subtle. Then, the rain started. At first, just a few drops, cool against her skin. Then heavier, until it became a steady rhythm against the roof.
You should probably stay.
Luca said, leaning against the doorway, arms crossed.
It's not safe to walk back in this.
Isabella hesitated. They had spent time together, but never like this. Never alone in his space, with no easy way out. She said finally, unsure why her heart was beating a little faster. The night they crossed the line, Luca handed her a towel and his shirt to shower and take a rest. His shirt, soft and slightly oversized. She changed in the bathroom, looking at herself in the mirror. The way the fabric draped over her. It smelled like him. When she stepped out, he was sitting on the edge of the bed, running a hand through his hair. There was only one bed. She had known that, of course, but now it seemed impossible to ignore. He looked up at her, and something unspoken passed between them.
Are you okay with this?
He asked, his voice quieter than usual. She wasn't sure how to answer. It wasn't that she didn't want to be here. It was that it felt too soon, too uncertain. But when Luca reached for her hand, she didn't pull away. The storm outside grew stronger, wind rattling the windows, waves crashing against the shore. Inside, it was warm, safe. He pulled her close, his fingers tracing small circles on her back, slow and careful.
Love me like the tide?
She whispered. Luca smiled slightly, brushing a strand of hair from her face.
Like the night was made for us.
He murmured back, and when he kissed her, it wasn't hurried or desperate. It was steady, like the tide. Pulling her in, holding her there. They didn't speak after that. The rain softened. fading into a quiet backdrop as they moved together, as if the night had been waiting for this moment. The morning after, Isabella woke up to the scent of coffee. The room was dim, the sun barely rising through the gray clouds. For a moment, she just lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the warmth of Luca's sheets around her. She hadn't expected last night to happen. Not so soon. And now, reality crept in. What if this was too fast? What if, after the newness faded, they realized they weren't meant for each other? She pulled on her clothes and stepped into the kitchen. Luca was standing by the counter, 2 mugs in front of him. He turned when he heard her, studying her expression.
Regretting it?
He asked softly. She swallowed.
I don't know.
He nodded, as if he had expected that.
Me neither.
They sat at the table, silent for a while. There was something fragile about this moment. Like one wrong word could break whatever they had built. Finally, Luca sighed, rubbing the back of his neck.
Look, I know this wasn't planned. And I don't want you to feel trapped in something you're not sure about.
She looked at him.
Are you sure about it?
Luca hesitated.
I don't know if I'm ready for something serious. But I know I don't want last night to be the only night.
Something in her chest tightened. Because she felt the same. She reached across the table, covering his hand with hers.
Then let's not think too much,
she said. Luca exhaled, relieved. And for now, that was enough. Isabella moved to a tranquil coastal town to escape city life's pressures. There, she discovered a quaint beachside cafe owned by Luca, a man with a calm demeanor. Drawn to the cafe's serenity, Isabella became a regular, and over time, she and Luca formed a quiet bond, sharing walks and conversations by the shore. One rainy evening, after dinner at Luca's home, the weather prompted Isabella to stay overnight. This unplanned intimacy deepened their connection, leading to a tender moment that neither had anticipated. The next morning, both grappled with the sudden shift in their relationship. Unsure of what the future held, but unwilling to let go, they decided to embrace the uncertainty together, allowing their relationship to evolve naturally. Vocabulary words with definitions and examples from the story. Whisper of the tide. 1. Tranquil, calm, peaceful, and undisturbed. Example. The tranquil coastal town offered Isabella the escape she desperately needed from the chaos of city life. 2. Observant, quick to notice or perceive details. Example. Luca's observant nature allowed him to understand Isabella's silence without needing explanations. 3. Fleeting, lasting for a very short time. Example. Their walks along the shore felt like fleeting moments of peace in an otherwise uncertain world. 4. Subtle, delicate, not obvious, or understated. Example. There was a subtle tension between them that neither wanted to address too soon. 5. Serene, completely calm and peaceful. Example. The cafe had a serene atmosphere, with soft lighting and the scent of the ocean drifting in. 6. Unspoken, not expressed in words, but understood. Example. In that unspoken moment, Isabella knew that she and Luca felt the same way about each other. 7. Melancholy, a deep, quiet sadness. Example. As she sipped her coffee, Isabella felt a hint of melancholy at the thought of eventually leaving this town. 8. Tentative, uncertain or hesitant. Example: Isabella gave a tentative nod when Luca asked if she was staying, unsure of her own answer. 9. Yearning, a deep, longing desire. Example: Luca's quiet yearning for something more was evident in the way he hesitated before answering Isabella's question. 10. Ephemeral, lasting for only a brief time, short-lived. Example: the beauty of the moment felt ephemeral, like the tide that came and went without pause. Phrases with definitions and examples from the story. Whisper of the tide. 1. A quiet bond, a connection formed without words, built on shared experiences. Example: over time, Isabella and Luca developed a quiet bond, one that needed no explanations. 2. A presence that made things feel lighter. Someone whose company brings comfort without effort. Example: Luca never pressured Isabella for answers, he was just a presence that made things feel lighter. 3. A break from the chaos, a temporary escape from stress or difficulties. Example: moving to the coastal town was Isabella's way of taking a break from the chaos of her old life. 4. A moment suspended in time, a scene or experience that feels outside the rush of everyday life. Example: walking along the shore with Luca felt like a moment suspended in time. 5. Like the tide, steady and endless, something constant and unchanging. Example: Luca's presence in Isabella's life was like the tide, steady and endless. 6. A place where someone had made peace with their life, a home or space that feels settled and comfortable. Example: Luca's house wasn't grand, but it felt like a place where someone had made peace with their life. 7. A fragile moment, a situation or feeling that could change easily with the wrong action or words. Example: their morning after was a fragile moment, one that neither wanted to shatter with too many words. 8. Not thinking too much. Just yet, choosing to stay in the moment rather than overanalyze. Example: they both knew things were uncertain, but they agreed on not thinking too much. Just yet.